Ladies and gentlemen, do not adjust your set. I am Hitman Cos. Welcome back to another edition of Contracts. This is another special edition where, with a day, with the day left to go, depending on which version you pre-ordered, we we are 24 hours away from the release of WWE 2K22. And I'm not alone in this endeavor. Everybody, please welcome, as usual, the co-host, the humble man, Gary. Welcome to the Contracts.
My man, Cos Payton, what's good, what's good? You already know it's great to be here. Of course, doing what we do best. And today, yes, that we gotta talk about WWE 2K22, So glad to be here and do this shit, Let's get to it.
Yeah, well, but first, before we get into it, there's something I have to say, and I know other people might be feeling this way, or other people don't want to hear it, but it needs to be said. And I do, I am a little scared for this game because the shit show that was 2K20. And the reason why I'm scared is because I'm hoping and praying that 2K22 does not end up like it. Because all of this hype, all these features that were shown and whatnot, it gives me high hopes for the game. But at the same time, I'm just hoping that it does not wind up being another 2K20.
Right. Exactly. That's what I'm freaking hoping so, but I still they took their time, with this game. They did all they could with this game. We had to wait 2 long years, so waiting 2 long years for another fuck up of a game. I got that, and I would hope this is not a fuck up again.
Speaking of waiting that long, let's give a big shout out to WWE 2K19 for holding it down for so long.
I
'Cause-
feel like, and I think we're gonna use those words holding it down. It's a fact because once 2K20 came out, they ended up promoting 2K19, 2K20, such a fucking disaster.
Yeah, you were breaking up a little, but I got the gist of what you said. But and like one of the things that pissed me off the most about 2K20 was the fact that um me people should know if they've been on the channel long enough, they know I like making characters with custom logos and whatnot, and it up until 2K20, it always be an easy thing to do. Put it up on the site, it shows up right there, and it's a done deal. But in 2K20, it was such a headache and a hassle that you'd have to put up one logo like 30 times just for it to show up once.
Exactly.
But you know, that's then. This is now. Let's get started talking about 2K22. Well, apparently there's now a mod faction mode for 2K22. You want to expand on that, humble man?
Yes, sir. It's my fact. Players and factions to make their factions and
Oh, hold up. Can you run that back? You were breaking up.
it gives fans the chance to create their own factions and stuff and to take on other factions, and it's really, 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 really great.
Okay, now compare create a faction mode to create a stable. What would you say is different?
I mean, what I would say is different is like, well, I would honestly speak, I don't even know if there's any difference. It kind of seems like the same. Faction and stable, like it's kind of the same, like a group of tag teams. So I don't think so.
So you'd say that create a faction is replacing create a stable?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Uh, and actually, one thing we should talk about, because a lot of people wouldn't stop clamoring for this, and to an extent I understand why, and that's people have been clamoring for um for create for a GM mode, and now this year they're finally bringing it back. Now, before you expand on that, I'll be the first to say, because I'm pretty sure I'm the first to say that I have to be the only person, at least that I know, that did not have the patience or like GM mode.
Oh, wow. Why?
Because honestly, I just didn't have the patience to make matches and control contracts and do all that shit that GM mode does for like the full year and whatnot. I just didn't have the patience. But ironically, when I say that, it's funny because I like my universe mode, but then again, it's a little different because you're just the GM rather than controlling the whole show, the actual name of the brand, what arena they're in. Yeah,
Right.
I guess because my universe mode is more creative is why I prefer it.
Right. Exactly. I see what you mean.
And I know I'm pretty sure other people have done this, but one thing I used to like to do a lot in the old SVR games, and even now, is that I used to watch CPU matches. Like whenever playing my universe, I'd always watch them. I'd usually watch a certain match that I thought looked good, and
Right.
and hell, I'd even probably have a snack or two with me as if it was like a real match. It'd be real entertaining.
Right.
Actually, as a matter of fact, before we continue, I know it's going to be a little off topic, but I got an idea I wanted to run with you and the people. How about me and you when I, for when I do my universe mode, every pay per view, me and you do live commentary on it.
Oh, that'd be great.
Like freaking, I'll record the shit, you know, and then as I'm recording it, I'm gonna take away their audio, and then we're gonna talk.
Oh yeah.
And hell, we could even uh, make as if we we were reporting, we heard reports backstage or rumors and shit, like the rumors tell us about backstage news.
Right.
But but I'll explain more uh, when we hook up.
Right.
But moving on with 2K22. Um, why don't we talk about the version you downloaded, the NWO package?
Yes, sir.
What's that about? I mean, besides the obvious. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
The WWE. Yeah, I mean that version you get, and you get the WCW title, if I'm correct and stuff, and all those things. A special My Faction card or something, and yeah, there was a special My Faction card. Is correct.
All right, all right. Now me, I just got like this, like it's a sort of standard package where I got 2K22 for both current gen and next gen. Where where like should where should I choose to finally get the Xbox Series X? Um, I'll get the what's his face? I'll be able to have it for both Xbox Series X and Xbox One.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, you're on the phone. I'm gonna get the series. I'm gonna get the Series X as well.
What you need? So sounds good to me. Um, and then actually, why don't we touch on, in my opinion, what's most important? Well, for me, what's most important, the creation suite. Yo,
Oh, hello.
I'm still here.
Yeah, what you were saying, you were breaking up a bit.
Yeah, let's talk about the creation suite.
Right.
Now, 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 as we talk about it has a lot to offer this year, and hopefully much better than last year. Wouldn't you say, humble man?
Yes, sir. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. I hope creative entrance has been improved and shit like that.
Oh yeah, I hope so as well. Honestly speaking.
But
What?
what happened?
I said I really would hope so as well, bro.
No, after that.
After that, no, I said I really would hope so.
Uh, yeah. I mean, one thing I'm hoping for is that, like, when it comes to like creating your own video and shit, I hope that when we're at the SmackDown and Raw arenas, it takes up like the whole screen or something like that. Because I can't use other people's stages because it has their name on them, you know.
Exactly.
And when I'm creating a wrestler, I'm creating my character, and I'm not creating them.
Yeah, right.
I mean, personally, I wish we could create our own graphics and shit, similar to what they introduced in WWE 12, when we could create our own entrance video.
Right.
But you know, if it's not like that and it's just the regular entrance video, then then maybe I could work around it.
Exactly. I would. Me too.
I know one thing I'm definitely gonna do was that just like last year and the year before, I'm gonna be putting up more what if entrances. Like how I put Edge's entrance, we're never gonna stop and all that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know this year, Happy Corbin just barely made the cut, and I know he just barely made the cut. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna show off his entrance, but I'm adding his pyro.
Oh yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, yeah, and a bunch of other shit I'm gonna do. That's probably the only spoiler I'm gonna give to the subscribers as far as what I'm gonna do, as far as anything that I plan on doing.
Right.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying. And
Yes.
then it seems that they've gotten or better yet expanded a bit when it comes to what's his face when it comes to create a superstar.
Right.
Freaking making these default body types and shit.
Right.
But still, yeah, but it still allow you to expand on that certain type.
That's true.
But they also balance it out, so you can't uh ha- have characters that can do ridiculous things that they normally shouldn't be able to do.
Correct.
But even still, I'm looking forward. Personally, I'm hoping that they have some good parts to choose from, as far as some some new parts to choose from too.
Right. Me too.
And also, I gotta say, I'm definitely not disappointed in the fact that there's still only 100 slots to make characters, because on 100 because being able to make 100 characters is still a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And sure, for at least in my case, mainly cause you know how I operate and how my subscribers know how I operate. I'd say maybe uh, 5, maybe 10 of those slots are gonna go towards uh, multiple copies of one character, but just so I have different attires. Cause still only making 2 attires, that's unacceptable.
Exactly.
If there's one thing that they should have improved upon as far as creating a character, it's having more tires. Cause I think from 2K13 or 14, no, from SVR 10 or 11 till 2K15, I think you were able to make four tires. You know, 4.
Right.
Whereas now you can only make 2.
Right.
And like, and you know, when you got dudes like me who love creating shit, you know, that's just unacceptable.
Right.
So, and honestly, until I saw someone else do it, I didn't even think about copying my character just to make multiple tires. But that shit's genius. But when I put them in my universe mode, I'm only gonna use one just because you know, because there's gonna be the off chance of my guy facing himself, and that just no, I'm not having it. It just it'll be crazy. It'll be stupid as hell.
Right. I can't blame you.
But if I'm playing online, you know, all bets are off. I'm using all of my guys.
Right.
Then now did they say anything about online features?
No, they haven't.
Well, hopefully the server is better and it doesn't do how last year's was, crashing so easily and shit. And I definitely hope that that what's his face that unlike last year we'll be able to use the second attire if we so choose to, because we couldn't do that in 2K20, and I found that very alarming.
Right.
Oh, and also, you know, if we want to, you know, be able to have our entrances on, you know, because they didn't let us have our entrances for when playing online.
Yeah.
And actually, when it came to a custom arena, forget it. Freaking, you could try to play in a custom arena, but chances are the game will crash.
Right.
Yeah. Then, then I suppose we should talk about the main thing. I think it's the showcase mode, where it's going to be centered around Rey Mysterio's career.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, personally, because I know they're going to go over old matches, I wonder if they're going to have his old themes.
Right, exactly.
Like, you know, the original version of Booyaka, and then, you know, his and then jumping out the sky and shit.
Right, exactly.
But there's one thing that I do fear when it comes to his old matches. I and do you know what that fear is?
What's that?
Well, because you haven't seen my videos, you don't know what the fear is. And the fear is that when it comes to making an old entrance, they they're gonna cut corners, and it won't look as authentic. Now, when I mean cut corners, it's like the entrance it'll have some parts missing, or won't look anything like how their old entrance was. Let me give you an example. In 2K19, there was two Chris Jerichos. The current Chris Jericho and Chris Jericho from 2010. And the 2010 Chris Jericho had the entrance where he did nothing, where he just walked down to the ring and then stared at the crowd.
Exactly.
But if you look at his default entrance for his 2010 entrance in the game, it's nothing like that. He's smiling, he's acting all cocky and shit, and it looks nothing like how he acted.
Right, that's a fact.
I mean, hell, the entrance didn't even have his pyro.
Oh wow, that's right.
That's why I made the video of a fixed version of his entrance. As a matter of fact, there are a good amount of videos on my channel that fixes entrances that 2K fucked up.
Oh wow.
I had to fix Undertaker's entrance when he was still using Roland, because freaking Undertaker was coming out too early, and also the lights weren't flashing the way they do when the beat was starting up. And yeah, and a lot of people liked it, and hey, I appreciate them for it. I really do.
Word.
Yeah.
That's good.
And freaking, actually, one of the funniest things, somebody left a comment saying, WWE 2K fans fixing their entrance, fans doing their work for them since day one, and that's funny yet sad at the same time. Because it's funny because it's true, but yet it's sad because it's also true. That the fact that we get right what they don't.
Oh wow.
Because also there was also in that game there was Chris Jericho from 2000, where in his original entrance, once again, he didn't come out at the right time. So I fixed that as well. And
Right.
and you're probably gonna think that this is messed up, but I'm honestly hoping that they fuck up someone else's entrance just so I can fix that too.
Oh wow.
And honestly, and if they don't, and they get it right, then that still gives me an opportunity to switch that person's theme with maybe an old theme they had or whatever,
Right.
Personally, I'm hoping that when it comes to talking about his career, I'm hoping they're bringing back Randy Orton's Legend Killer entrance with Burning My Light.
Oh yeah.
Cause
You mean from the Imperial Showcase?
yeah,
Honestly speaking, I would hope that too, but I gotta say this: I saw a list of what matches are going to be in his mode, and apparently his matches with Orton isn't one of them. And that's ridiculous. I'm like, what the hell? I was looking forward to that version of Randy Orton being in the game as well.
but he was one of Ray's biggest rivals when he first won the world title at WrestleMania.
Exactly. So I was hoping for the Royal Rumble match to be in it, because they said a rumor that was going to be in it up there, but it's not. Because there's this website called the SmackDown Hotel. Go.com. Go follow on the social media and go on the site. It'll tell you the matches that are up there, and the Royal Rumble match is one of those listed, but it's not, because that's not a confirmed match. And I was kind of upset because that's one of his biggest matches. It's like one of his biggest pushes in WWE, and I'm upset at that. That's not in there. Also, I'm not upset because it because if you play that match, what the objectives that I said would be in there to eliminate Triple H or Randy Orton, it would probably, we'd probably have to keep on trying lots of times and difficulties and stuff.
I mean, honestly, when it comes to something like that, part of me thinks something like that would not be in there just because it's too specific of a task. And if it was, then I'm pretty sure the AI would more than likely simulate the match until Triple H is still in the match and Orton's entering the match. Because they did that when it came to other 2K Showcase modes, so I doubt that they wouldn't screw us over like that. Then, his feud with Orton was one of his biggest feuds, because but honestly, part of me is sort of understanding why this feud isn't in there is because a good amount of the feud was Orton talking about Eddie.
Right, exactly.
And believe it or not, freaking Orton felt like a true piece of shit when back behind the scenes when it came to the storyline.
Right.
Like he didn't like it at all. I'll never forget this. This is a true test of how good of a person Orton is. Is that when he cut the promo where he said that Eddie's down in hell, when he went backstage, he started crying, and then the next day he immediately went to Eddie's grave asking for his forgiveness.
Oh man. That's part I didn't.
Yep. And honestly, knowing Eddie, I guarantee that he immediately forgave him just because had Eddie been in his shoes, he would have probably went through with the same thing.
Right.
Just because like Orton, wrestling wasn't because like Eddie, wrestling is in Orton's blood. It's his soul. It's everything.
Right.
And actually, speaking of Eddie, his feud with Eddie should definitely be in there because that was also one of his biggest feuds.
Exactly, that's correct.
And if not that, then I'd say his friendship with Batista should be in it.
Oh yeah, I agree as well with that.
And also his run as Cruiserweight Champion, maybe. Only reason why I say it is because I want to see Matt Hardy version 1.
Right, exactly.
But that's just me throwing it out there.
Right, I would like to see that too as well. You're not the only one.
Yeah, but hey, and actually, I think one thing that honestly wouldn't make sense if it's not included is this feud with Kurt Angle, and that was his first ever feud because that feud alone is what first brought Ray into the spotlight in WWE. Now,
right, exactly.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong. Sure, he lost the match, but the match was absolutely great.
Exactly.
And honestly, if y'all haven't seen it and y'all got the WWE Network on Peacock, definitely watch it. It was SummerSlam of what year was it? I think SummerSlam of 03 or something like that.
Which match is it referring to?
Kurt Angle versus Rey Mysterio. It was when Kurt Angle was wearing that ugly ass red and white striped singlet?
I know what you're referring to now. 03, Angle fought Lesnar. Is that SummerSlam? No, it's not that. If I'm correct, it would have to be, which SummerSlam was this?
04?
Was it 04? No, he fought Eddie Guerrero that year.
Oh, so then 02.
Yes.
Alright, so yeah, y'all had it for SummerSlam 2002. Kurt Angle's Rey Mysterio. Check it out. It's a gem of a match. Should definitely be a part of Ray's 2K showcase.
Right.
Actually, another part that should be a part of it is that his days if they cover his days in WCW, I think what they should definitely have is, if they don't have any matches, then just have them briefly go over his time with the LWO, the Latino World Order, and the Filthy Animals. But mainly the LWO, because the thing is, what I remember is that Ray didn't even want to join the group, but even though he was a part of it, he, in my opinion, stood out the most when it came to them splitting. Because what happened was, and I'm pretty sure you remember, that Ric Flair had now taken control of WCW, at least on screen. And when on screen, he called out the LWO. And once he called them out to the ring, he fed them all he fed them all a bunch of lies, saying that they were gonna get the money and respect that they deserved. They were gonna get all this good stuff happening to them, but in order for it to happen to them, the LWO had to disband. So they all had to take off their LWO shirts, and he specifically promised Juventud that if he took off his shirt, himself, Juventud and Flair were going to Tijuana and being with mad women. And sure, it personally, and no offense to them, but it showed how gullible they are on screen, because they believed it, and how quickly they took the shirts off. But if you were paying attention to the replay, Rey Mysterio was the only one who didn't take off his shirt. And not only did he not take off his shirt, he left the ring with his shirt still on.
Right.
And if you saw the look on his face, he was absolutely disgusted at them.
Right.
And storyline wise, I'd understand why, because actually during that whole segment, Eddie wasn't even there, because he legitimately broke his leg and was in the hospital.
Right.
So all this happened, behind, under his eye,
Right. Exactly.
and storyline wise has me thinking that this was a big spit in the face to Eddie, because Eddie's biggest gripe when it came to forming the LWO was that he was tired of his people being mistreated, being underpaid, and being disrespected, when yet they're the hardest working, and people love them. And then for this to happen, it was like them, and seeing how quickly they took the shirts off. It's basically them. It's basically thinking that everything Eddie had worked so hard for was all for naught.
Right.
And then what made them the most gullible, in my opinion, was that the day after the segment, they all got fired.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Which once again showed that Flair lied. But hopefully, they go through all that. They go through his brief time in ECW. Personally, honestly, part of me thinks they're probably not going to go through it, just because especially his time in ECW, because during that time he didn't have his mask, because WCW forced him to be in a match where his mask was on the line, and he lost. So he was forced to take his mask off.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and the thing was, because he's a luchador, he didn't want to take off his mask. Because the luchadors, their mask and their identity is everything. You take off their mask, you're spitting in their face. It's disrespect upon disrespect. And the true luchadors, like the truest of true luchadors, you don't even know their real name.
That's true.
Because the truest of true luchadors hide everything about them. They hide their face, behind the mask. Sure, so some might have their mouth exposed or whatever, but they have their face behind the mask, and their character is everything. They'll wear it, they'll wear the mask everywhere they go, off TV, they stay in character at all times, and they also keep their identity top secret, that no one knows their real name and real identity.
Exactly.
And that's basically what Ray tried to explain, which is why he didn't want to take off his mask. But the powers that be basically gave him an ultimatum: either take the mask off or you're fired.
Exactly.
And Ray had a family to feed, so he had no choice.
Correct.
And sure, there were times where he took off his mask in WWE, but you never saw his face.
That's correct.
See, this is one thing I'll definitely give Vince credit for, is that he respected the luchador style by them by not having them take off their mask, because also in WCW was where Juventud got unmasked. Because before Juventud, was the way that we saw him as in LWO, he actually wrestled with a mask on.
Right.
But then when he was feuding with Chris Jericho over the WCW, I think either the light heavyweight title or the TV title, I forget which, they had a match. Jericho put his title on the line, and Juventud put his mask on the line. Then he tapped out to the Lion Tamer and lost his mask.
Right.
But yeah. And honestly, I think with that being said, actually, I'm actually honestly curious as to what other or what special arenas will be here. Because I know they're gonna have all the pay-per-views from the previous year and whatnot. They're having the Thunderdome too. I'm looking forward to that. But I'm wondering what old school arenas they'll have. And considering they're going over Ray's career, I'm thinking, they'll have like maybe the Royal Rumble of 2006, SummerSlam of 02, maybe WrestleMania 20. Actually, wait, yeah, WrestleMania 20, cause he was at WrestleMania, cause he was in a match at WrestleMania 20. You know what I'm saying? So.
Right.
And more than likely, they have to have WrestleMania 22 That's where he won the world title. But again, you said that they're not gonna have his feud with Orton's or the Royal Rumble, so maybe not. But hey,
Right.
but you know, with that being said, you know, that's gonna do it for this episode of the Contracts. I definitely want to thank each and every one of y'all for taking the time out of your busy schedule to go and chill with me and the Humble Man on this special edition. I definitely want to thank the Humble Man, of course, for kicking his wrestling knowledge as usual.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My man Cross Payton, as always, kicking our wrestling knowledge. And we know we had to do it for WWE 2K22. It's a long time coming. We had to wait 2 long years for this, so you know we had to kick the wrestling knowledge as well. You know that.
Yep. And before signing out, we would like to say this: 2K, don't fuck this up.
Yeah, 2K, please don't fuck this up. You had us waiting too long damn years for this shit. Please do not fuck this up. Please do not. I will be playing mine tomorrow night, 9 p.m. and I just found out at GameStop that people who pre-ordered the deluxe edition physical, GameStop is doing a 9 p.m. release, and I'm guessing if you pre-ordered it deluxe on whatever system digitally, you'll be playing at 9 p.m. tomorrow as well, as well as playing the collector's edition 9 p.m. tomorrow night digitally on whatever system you guys pre-ordered it on. And whoever ordered the standard edition across Gen bundle, you guys will be playing it the day that playing it the day that those released, or you guys will be playing it the night before, who knows, or you guys will be playing it the day of. But yep, please, 2K, do not fuck this up.
Yep. So for everybody who like the Humble Man just said, who got special edition pre-orders, y'all, I hope y'all enjoy that shit to your heart's content for the next 4 days until us that have to wait till the official release get it, and then to everybody else that plays it on the 11th, play it to your heart's content, and if they didn't mess it up, then honestly, literally have the time of your lives, man. That's all that you should do. Have the freaking time of your life. Yeah. And with that being said, we gotta get up out of here. So until the next video, by way of Struggle Vision Productions, it's the Hitman and the Humble Man, and we out. Peace.
Peace. We out of here. Let's get up. Peace.